Welcome to the archives of Hanging with the Hayters. Boy, you picked a good one, but if perchance this doesn't float your boat, check out another one. We're loaded. And don't forget, we're live every Wednesday at noon on www.irlonestar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1.
And welcome to Hanging with the Hayters. It's Wednesday at noon. Mark and Kay Hayter, your hosts here. And today we are jumping right in with a very special guest. Mark, who are we going to talk to this morning?
I put on Facebook, and we got several comments, Kay, mostly about how beautiful you are on in the picture I sent. But the other, I had mentioned that my favorite columnist at the Courier is Jerry Walls. He's the nature guy, and I have been wanting him to get on the show personally, but of course he doesn't live around here. He lives, I think, in Florida. I could be wrong, but I was able to get him to agree to be on our show through the telephone. And a little bit about his background, folks. He's a educator, naturalist. He didn't invent. I guess he did invent, but he's the founder and owner of something called Amazing Animals, where he goes around and has animal programs and all, and he just knows everything there is practically about animals. Big on snakes, alligators, turtles, tortoises, lizards of all kinds, mammals, insects. Anyway, he's given so many talks. He's been on ABC, Fox Network, and all with some of his programs, and he is well known much outside of Conroe. I hope y'all know him or read his column. It's Jerry Walls, Outdoors. Right now, we've got him on the line, and Jerry, are you there?
Hey, Mark and Kay.
Hey, Jerry.
Good morning.
It's so good. And by the way, I don't know if anybody's told you, but you've got a good radio voice.
Oh, thank you.
The man is super. And, I was just telling them that you had been on some TV programming also as well. And so you are, I would say, a nationally known outdoorsman yourself.
I think you're being awful kind.
No, I think.
First off, my thoughts and prayers are to all in Southeast Texas. Well, I spent 15 years there, working in several capacities as a naturalist for governmental agencies in and around Houston and Montgomery County, and I hope the rain stops. So my thoughts and prayers are with you all.
That's so nice of you,
Keep praying, because we got more coming.
I know.
Well, Jerry, aren't y'all?
But I don't think I'm known nationally. I'm a one-man show. My passion is to educate others about the wonders of nature, and I have nothing against electronics, but it's so interesting when you look around. And I did a career day at a college in South Carolina last year, or actually a couple years ago. And when I was outside the auditorium where I was doing my Why Be a Naturalist, there was a bald eagle flying right over my head, and 99% of the students were on their iPhones, and they never even saw it. So kids don't get outdoors, and adults don't get outdoors. They don't climb trees anymore. They don't go dipping in a pond. And I think I'm fighting a losing battle, but I'm never giving up.
Oh, that's
good.
That's great.
Good.
And I imagine y'all got a lot of rain, too, out there, by the way.
It's not too bad. Well, that storm went up, hit the Carolinas. I can't remember the Bonnie or whatever it was. Now next week we're supposed to get some. So hopefully hopefully it'll leave you and hit here.
Oh,
well,
whatever.
Nice?
He's a nice guy. By the way, I was looking on your Facebook and looking at a picture or two about the children who were around you as you were showing snakes and things like that.
Let's talk
he's
about
an educator.
snakes.
And when I talked to Jerry, asked him, we won't have a lot of time, so what is it you would like to talk about? And you mentioned something that was so appropriate, snake encounters. And Jerry told me, with the high water coming up, the summer coming, there's probably a lot of snake encounters amongst the people over here.
Yeah, we need to know what to do.
Yeah, Jerry, can you share that?
Unfortunately, the timing was unintentional when I wrote I think the column may have broke this morning in the Courier, but with the high water, snakes don't come after people. We are way too big for any native Texas snake to consider us as prey. And by the way, most of the snakes in Texas, I can't remember, I haven't done a program in Texas, but just to give you an example, there are 50 species of snakes found in Florida. There probably are a few more in Texas. But out of that number, only 6 are venomous in southeast Texas. So number one, your chances are far greater you're going to encounter a non-venomous snake. And by the way, there's no such thing as a poisonous snake. Poison is something you drink or rub against. Proper word is venom. So if you ever get on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, remember who told you that answer.
But
anyway,
you're my caller.
In southeast Texas, you've got the coral snake, which is the brightly colored one, red touch yellow. You've got copperheads, cottonmouths. Another name for cottonmouth is water moccasin. And you've got 3 species of rattlesnakes. So there's only 6. You've got the timber rattlesnake, the western diamondback, which is not found very often in Harris or Montgomery County, and then you have the pygmy. All the rest, out of those 50 or 60 or 70, are non-venomous. So with this water rising, they're not coming after you. They're trying to find a place to survive. It's just like you see the livestock gathering up on people's high ground and porches.
Yeah.
If you encounter a snake, number one, if you can, get the pets and the kids inside. Don't let them play with it. Common sense comes into play. Avoid it, or if you have to, find a large garbage can or a box, find a shovel or another implement, coax the snake into the can, flip the can back upright with your shovel handle, put the top on it, and then get a brave neighbor to take it down and relocate it somewhere else. So it's common sense. You don't want to handle it. You don't want to grab it. You don't want to pick it up. As I mentioned, pets and children inside. Take a cell phone picture. If you've got your cell phone,
good idea.
Just in case someone gets bit, you take that cell phone picture to the hospital. You don't cut. You don't suck. You get to a medical facility, take a picture of the snake. That way it's identifiable as venomous or non-venomous. So even though I don't preach electronics can help in this situation. Take a picture of it. But don't get too close. I mean, that's a last resort. Just try to coax the snake away from you. And they're here for a reason. People always say, "Oh, the only good snake is a dead snake." If we didn't have any snakes, you'd be covered up now with rodents running all over with the flood. You'd have rats and mice everywhere. Snakes a lot of snake species eat rodents, and people don't realize that rodents cause disease. That's how the plague got here years ago. It got to Europe by rats. Snakes eat rodents. Number 2 cause of building fires in the United States, documented by the fire department, is rodents chewing on your wires. Snakes don't chew on your wires.
Wow.
Snakes will eat the rodents that cause the fires, rodents that are in your attic and in your walls. And the third good reason why snakes are here, because they're doing research on their venom. Their venom is curing multiple diseases that humans have. So they're here for a reason. They're in the food chain for a reason, as predator and as prey. Some people don't, well, why should we have snakes? So many other kinds of animals eat snakes, including raptors, hawks, eagles, owls. So snakes are here for a reason. It's education, and that's what I try to do, is educate people on why they're here and why we should be, at least open your mind to common sense and learn. You don't have to love them. They don't bring you your slippers in the morning. They don't bring you the paper in the morning, but they're here for a reason. Yeah. And with the high water, just try your best. Just remember, the snake is as panicked as you are. Okay, it's not going to eat you. It's trying to find a safe place. So if you can't coax it away, just don't. You won't get bit if you don't get close. That's another thing. So.
Jerry, one thing I know you misspoke was the fact that the snake's as panicky as I am. They may be panicked, but oh my gosh, Jerry! If I see one, I dream about it that night. I've got this. I don't know what it is. Snakophobias.
Yeah. Well, some people do it, but it's interesting. I encounter this. I probably do about 150 programs every year, and a lot of them, snakes and alligators are my number 1 and 2 most. I do about 25 different themes or topics. A lot of people come into the room, and at first, it's not the children, because they still have that open mind. They still have that curiosity. It's the adults that stand in the back of the room, and they're trembling and they're sweating, and I try to... But it's interesting. 9 out of 10 at the end of the program, you'll watch their body language. They start to loosen up. They get a little closer. They say, "Could I touch its tail?" It's amazing the number of people that have a phobia about reptiles, about snakes, how many open up at the end of a 45-minute program and actually come close, and a lot of them will actually touch the tail and go, "Oh, wait, it's not slimy, it's not stinky, it doesn't smell." Snakes are amazingly clean. They have no hair to gather dirt, and they shed their skin. They're much cleaner than humans, and they don't carry diseases like rodents do. So they're very misunderstood.
Yeah, but they have beautiful eyelids. I've noticed that. That's a joke.
Well, can I correct you? They have no eyelids.
I know. I was just joking with you.
Yeah, that was a joke, but that's why they never close their eyes.
Right. They're always them and sharks. I don't know what the deal is. Jerry, let me ask you this. It's of these snakes I've got listed here, the coral snake is one. I'm assuming they don't eat a whole lot of rodents or anything. And
No, they're fossorial. They live on the ground, which is probably one of the ones that's going to get flushed out the most by all this rain. The good news is coral snakes are red touch yellow kill a fellow. I hate that rhyme because it leaves the girls out.
That's true. And Galpin
it leaves the girls out. Or red touch black, which is the non-venomous milk snake, friend of Jack. That leaves the girls out too. So somebody needs to come up with a rhyme about the colors of a coral snake that does protect women. So all you girls out there, I'm looking out for you. But anyway, coral snakes live under the ground for the most part. So that's when, if a heavy rain, they're forced out. They're not very aggressive animals. Very small heads. They do not have the hypodermic fangs of a pit viper. Their fangs are not as long as a cottonmouth or a copperhead or a rattlesnake. But their venom is different. Their venom is a neurotoxic cobra-like venom, but very few people are envenomated by coral snakes in the United States.
That's
very
what I was
few.
wondering.
They're not that common.
They have to be messing with it to get bitten.
Yeah, exactly. Like someone's, what a pretty little king snake it is, or milk snake, and they pick it up and then they realize it's a coral snake. But even then, most people don't get bit. But you're right, Mark. They don't eat rats. They eat other snakes.
Oh.
They eat lizards. They eat smaller prey. They're not constrictors. They eat by envenomation, and the venom immobilizes their prey. But no, you're right. They don't eat rats or rodents.
Looking at the list also, I was thinking of the coral snake, and I was looking at these others, and what I've heard the heads are kind of
rectangular?
Not
rectangular, in a triangular.
Yeah, like arrow-shaped or arrowhead-shaped triangle. Yeah, you can't go by that. You can't go by the elliptical pupils in the eye either. Coral snakes have a round pupil just like non-venomous snakes. People say, if it's got an elliptical, cat-like, up and down, vertical pupil, it's venomous. You can't go by that because coral snakes have a round pupil. So that dispels that theory. So, basically you can't go by the shape of the head because hognose snakes, which are called spreading adders, which are not venomous, they'll spread their head out like a cobra. They're not venomous to us. Water snakes will spread their head out when they get upset. The common water snakes are not venomous. It's the cottonmouth or water mocks that is. So you can't really go by the wedge-shaped head either. The best thing to do is to stay away and just respect it. Walk away. If you're out there in the woods, you're in its yard. If it's in your backyard and you've got children and pets, I understand the removal part of it. There's a compromise there. But if you're out in the woods, you're in its territory. Right. But no, you can't go by the head, shape of the head. You can't go by the pupil.
One thing I think we can do right now, Jerry, is we can add the feminine angle to a snake. As you just mentioned, when you see the poisonous snake, we can say, "Walk away, Renee."
There you go.
There we go,
by that
Jerry.
famous song that us old folks remember that.
Exactly.
That song from the 60s.
Only a couple of people.
The younger kids won't. But yeah, "Walk away, Renee." Hey, there you go, Mark. See, you came up with something. That's a good one.
Hey, Jerry, are you going to be in our neighborhood anytime in the distant future? Kay would sure like to see a snake presentation or whatever.
Just
both of us would.
I wish I was. I spent 15 years there. Moved from Houston to run a nature center in Mississippi in late 2009, I guess it was. I miss Texas. I still have friends there. I have not been back since 2009, since we went to Mississippi. Subsequently moved Amazing Animals to South Carolina for 5 years, and now am in South Central Florida, working with several organizations doing educational activities. And I don't do Carolina Safari with CBS and Fox anymore. I miss that. But to answer your question, I wish I could say I was going to be back in Texas, but right now I don't have any program scheduled in Texas, but that could change.
Oh, good. I hope so.
Since you're in the Florida area, it's not uncommon for us to see a news report about some humongous python that's been found down there. So can you just tell us a little bit about the issues that are going on over there with non-native species?
Great question, Kay. Yeah. And second of all, thank you for calling. I know we've been kind of, if I'm not mistaken, about a year ago we tried to get this done and we never did. So anyway, this is fun because if one person learns one thing, it's worth it.
You're a big
Pythons. I wonder how much hype is involved. Working in TV, and I was also a reporter in Tallahassee, Florida for a couple years. I have kind of a real-world aspect on the news media, on the media. Sometimes a lot of that is hype. I have not seen a Burmese python. Now, I am about 100 miles north of Miami, which is outside of that core range where they're down there near Homestead in Miami and Everglades National Park. I have not visited there since I've been back to Florida, so I have not been down there for years.
Okay.
All I can say is I have friends that do a lot of field work in herpetology, in reptiles and amphibians, that they may see one a year.
Okay.
And they're out there quite often.
Good.
Now, other people
That's
look
good
for
news.
them, and you may encounter 3 or 4 a year. They're not on every street corner down there.
Okay, good.
That, I think, is I don't know what the proper political way to say it, but that I think the press has kind of exacerbated how many pythons are down. Now, are they there? Yeah. Are they there? Should they be there? No. Are they hurting the ecosystem? Probably, because they're eating animals that would normally be eaten by native snakes, by alligators, and native animals that are indigenous to Florida. But just to give you an example, I can't remember right off the top of my head how many lizard species are in Florida. I think it's like 40 or 45. 9 of them are indigenous. The rest are invasive exotic.
Oh my gosh!
South Florida is a melting pot because of the weather. It's temperate. It's a melting pot for exotics. People let them go. They get this cute little snake and this cute little tortoise, this cute little monitor lizard that's a foot long, and in 3 or 4 years it's 5 feet long, or 6 feet, 7 feet, whatever. They let it go because they're irresponsible.
Yeah.
And then and they end up breeding here. And there are parrots flying all over here. Parrots, macaws, $2,000 parrots you buy in a pet store are flying loose in South Florida. But are the pythons here? Yeah. Is it good? No. Should something be done? I don't know what should be done. It's kind of like the feral hogs in Texas. They're everywhere. And how do you stop it?
Oh, boy, are they. Yeah.
Yeah. So, a great question. Yeah, they're here. How many are here? I saw this show on TV not long ago where they said they could get up to Central Park in New York. I disagree. Too cold. These are tropical animals, and they had a gentleman saying, they could make it up to Central Park. They don't live in snow. So
well, they had to go. They had to go looking for a guy that was willing to say that.
Yeah, I know. And they probably paid him handsomely. But anyway, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to get off on a soapbox.
Jerry, I know your time's limited, but I got several questions. You just stop me when you have to go, if you don't mind.
Okay. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Kay watches a lot of nature shows, and one of them they have so many features of chameleons. And are they in Florida, or do you?
Oh yeah. There's knights and owls. There's chameleons. There's a lot of invasive lizards. In fact, some people have a part-time job. They go out at night and they shine the lizards when the lizards are diurnal for the most part. Some geckos aren't, but a lot of these anoles and these chameleons that are not native, they'll just sit on leaves at night and camouflage. People go out with flashlights and they collect them and sell them to importers and exporters for the pet trade.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean they're. I can go outside right now and find 20 lizards in my backyard, which could include a tegu, an iguana, anoles from the Bahamas, from Puerto Rico. I'd be hard pressed to find a native lizard out there.
Goodness.
That's
well,
and,
for some reason, I'm not scared of lizards. I mean, I would a monitor, a big one, but snakes is a different story. But I see people bring in their chameleon to the vet or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're so cute.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
Low maintenance animals, they don't require. I've got about 50 animals that I take care of every day that I use in programs. And lizards are very easy to keep, for the most part, especially in Florida because it doesn't get that cold. As long as they have a UVA and UVB light to simulate the sunlight, in most cases, as long as their temperature gradient's good. Some of them only eat 2 or 3 times a week. They don't defecate much. Reptiles are such easy pets to keep. That's why college kids have them. They're so easy to keep. But so lizards are very easy.
What other animals, do you have in your menagerie that you take and show?
Well, I'm sitting in. I've got about 25 to 30 different snakes, different species. I've got several lizards. I've got an alligator. Actually, I have one in South Carolina and one in Florida on the alligators. I've got several lizards. Most of them are rescues that Fish and Wildlife has given me that they took them from people that either didn't want them or shouldn't have them.
Yeah.
I've got tegu lizards, which are about 3 and 4 feet long. They're from South America that are breeding here now in Florida. I've got several of those. I've got tortoises from Africa. I've got spiders and scorpions from all over the world. I tend to get into the animals that are the underdogs, the bats, the scorpions, spiders, the snakes. I don't have many. Well, I have dogs, but I don't. I don't have many mammals right now. And I don't take. I'm a dog lover and a cat lover, so we adopt as necessary. And but most of the animals I have, you probably wouldn't want to have in your house. But there's a reason they're here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of them.
Well, Jerry, as you talk, just questions come up that nobody else is thinking of, I'm sure. But when I was in high school, I did some kind of talk on Gila monsters. And if I recall, is it true that they do not defecate?
I've never kept a Gila monster. I don't know that to be true. I've never heard of that before, but they're beautiful. There's only 3 venomous lizards in the world, and one of them is the Gila monster. One is the Mexican beaded lizard, and one they've just now. Some scientists think that the Komodo dragon not only does it have bad bacteria in its saliva, it has some venom. So, but as far as the defecate thing, I know what I'm going to be doing when I hang up. I'm going to be going on the internet. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Great question. If they, they're very expensive, and you have to have a permit in Florida to have them. I don't know what it's like in Texas, but
we don't enforce it, whatever it is. I assure you.
There's several $1,000s a piece to purchase one. I know that much. Now the defecation part. Hey, if they don't, I may get one because that would be easy.
That would be easy.
Cage to clean, wouldn't it?
What I remember reading was, and I could have read it all wrong, that their tails are so broad, and that was one of the reasons. And the reason they're poisonous is because of the bacteria and all that they're carrying because of that. I have no idea. But Jerry, one other thing I wanted to ask you, and it's another one of those topics that goes off somewhere. And I was reading a little something you were writing, or maybe you were speaking it, and somebody jotted talking about the depletion of the grasslands, a swamp in
South Florida
that is a danger. What's happening there?
But it's I grew up here in the 60s and 70s, which is aging myself, but that's okay. And back then it was a great place to live, and I had thoughts about moving. I didn't move back to Miami. I'm from South Florida, from Miami area, and I had thoughts about moving back. That's why we only moved. We moved about 100 miles north of Miami because of all the construction. But it's there's a lot of things going on. You have to have a permit to build in certain spots here because of some animals like the gopher tortoise, which you don't. You have a Texas tortoise out in West Texas, but we've got gopher tortoises here in Florida, and they tend to live in these high sandy areas. and I know that's not answering your questions on swamps, but the high sandy areas is where we build houses because it's not going to flood.
Yeah.
So now you have to get a permit. If there's any gopher tortoises on that high sandy area, you have to relocate them. You have to get a permit to build, which is good because, they're here for a reason. And there's over 300 animals that live in that gopher tortoise burrow. They dig a burrow, and 300 other animals live there symbiotically with the gopher tortoise. So they provide it's kind of like a hotel that they build.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the swamps go, the problem we're having is pollution. Lake Okeechobee used to be a great place. I used to go there to fish and to get out in the woods. And now there's so much phosphorus built up from the runoff from the agricultural fields all around the lake that they open the waterways and dispel the water when the lake gets too high. The algae bloom that comes over to the east coast and the west coast of Florida, they have fish kills. So the swamps are getting polluted by the runoff from the lake. And there was a restoration that was, I think 75% of the voters approved a reclaim to restore some of the areas south of the lake in the swampy areas. It's now agricultural fields back to swamps to filter that water and send it south the way the natural flow was.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of problems in Florida, especially South Florida, with pollution as far as the swamps go. It's not necessarily development, although that does claim some swamps, but it's pollution, and that's the problem. And there's so many lobbyists that politic for the farmers and politics for the sugarcane people, and then there's the other side which says, hey, we're getting toilet flushed on. You're dumping this water on us, and it's our quality of life, and the fishermen are all complaining because it's killing the fish, and that's their livelihood. So there's two sides to every story. So you're right, Kate. That there's problems here, and probably not unlike Texas, but it's as the population grows, the demand on habitat grows.
Oh, that's true. So. Jerry, we're about to get bell bit right here. I've still got questions. I'm going to have to arrange with you another time. If you don't mind, I'd like to know what to do with the snake in my house or something. But we'll get back. If you don't mind, I'll holler at you at some point and see if you're available. I want to thank you so much for
thank you
being
all.
here.
This has been very interesting.
And for
thank
the work
you so
do,
much.
Jerry, it's super. I didn't see your column today, but I'm betting Thursday or tomorrow it should be in. I sure.
They usually tell me when it's not going to run, but I don't know. Maybe something happened,
Hey.
Once again, my thoughts and prayers are to all of y'all.
Thank you, Jerry.
And please
thank you
be
so
safe.
much.
Thank you
you
so
have
much,
a wonderful day, Jerry.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all for calling.
You bet. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Jerry Walls, ladies and gentlemen, and be looking for his column. I'm thinking it's tomorrow in Outdoors Conroe. We've foregone our first break. So we're getting ready to take the 12:30 break, which is the most important one of the day. We get the traffic, we get the weather and all, which is intense. Back in a couple of minutes, hanging with the Hayters, Mark and Kay.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are looking for talk show hosts and volunteer DJs for our music shows. Are you interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or have you always wanted to live out your dreams of being a music DJ? With the addition of Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and video aspects of our talk shows, we are needing people to grow with us. If you or someone you know might be interested, please contact us online at irlonestar.com/contact us, or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're hanging with the Hayters. Mark and Kay here. We just said goodbye to Jerry Walls, the among other things, he's a nature detective. Can you believe that? That's what we need, is a nature detective. And,
he should have a show.
He should. And
on the Animal Planet.
Kay, I don't know about you, but he left me with several words that, in reference to chameleons or something, he said they're serenimal. I couldn't write it down. I can't read my writing.
Yeah.
Something else is for cereal. Coral snake is fossorial.
Fossilial. Yeah, I hadn't heard that one either. We're going to have to look some
and
of this
there's
stuff up.
Symbiotic. I should know what it means, and it sounds like sim and biotics together mean something like that.
At our place now, we've got a little over half an acre.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there are copperheads out there, and there might be a rattlesnake come through. I've never seen one. The only thing I've ever seen poisonous in a yard is coral snakes, and we've had more than one. And twice they've been right by the carport in the back door. Now I'm feeling bad because I killed them because we don't have pets. We don't have kids.
Yeah. It's.
But I mean,
Jerry lost me when he said get the shovel, because that's what
we did get the shovel.
I get the shovel and I don't go back to the garbage can. And with the coral snake, the only way one's going to bite you, I would think, is if you're bending over trying to kill it or something.
Or trying to pick it up. Or
that's why you need a shovel.
Encourage it into into
and,
another container.
And like he said, the venom is like a cobra and all. And it's, in other words, I've heard a copperhead snake, I mean, they've got anti-venom, but they say, depending on the bite and the size of the person, there's probably not much they're going to do for you. But with the coral snake, they got to do something or you're in bad shape.
Yeah.
There are so many things we need to talk about, events to plug. Before we do, since this is snake-related, Kay, I need to mention the one other snake-related story.
Yes.
Simply because Jerry did not bring this one up. And we saw this in the newspaper.
Yeah.
It's out of Bangkok.
This is bad, y'all.
Oh, this is horrible. It says here, I'm just reading it straight from the paper because anything else you're going to think I made up. It says, a Thai man is recovering from a bloody encounter with a 10-foot python that slithered through the plumbing of his home and latched its jaws onto his penis as he was using a squat toilet. Now, fortunately, Kay, we don't have squat toilets that I'm aware of. That doesn't mean
not at our house.
You can't. But it says here the 38-year-old told and this is hard to say, the 38-year-old told Thai TV Channel 7 that he struggled to remove the snake for 30 minutes before he managed to free himself with help from his wife and a neighbor. I would say definitely when something has latched onto your penis, your wife is probably someone that needs to be called. I don't know about the neighbor, but 30 minutes of that he endured.
Well, he's talking to the TV about it, so he must be okay.
One thing I do appreciate in
what
that,
a traumatic
they
experience.
didn't mention the python dying, so maybe they saved it and put it in something.
Yeah.
And
encourage that python to let go.
Right, exactly. He got to let go. Anyway, so many things, Kay, with respect to plugging things, and we don't have a whole great deal of time left, but I was thinking about all the graduations that have been going on.
It's that time of year.
Right. The Woodlands High School, they graduated last night. They had it over there at the Woodlands Mitchell Pavilion.
Cynthia
Woods.
Yes.
Cynthia Woods? Cynthia Mitchell. Anyway, the New Caney, though, they had their Saturday night, and they went to where we went when...
it was Caney Creek, honey.
What did I say?
Not New Caney.
New Caney. That's stupid, folks. I'm sorry.
We don't want to confuse our listeners.
We get them, and if you notice, I do that, especially when I'm talking so fast, so let me calm down. Anyway, Caney Creek, they did theirs at Sam Houston Gymnasium, and when I was teaching at Oak Ridge, that's where we went, and it was always very hot and never. Okay, I don't go to graduations anymore.
We live in a hot part of the world.
Yeah,
we do.
I enjoyed seeing my senior students and all during their happy times and all, but boy, it's usually very trying. Also, of course, you got Oak Ridge High tonight. Oak Ridge is graduating. They're at the Mitchell Pavilion, and let's see, College Park Friday graduating. Anyway, a lot of graduations going on. And, in fact, our story today is about a graduation, but I'll share that with you later. Another event I wanted to share with you just because it's cute. There is a Mommy and Me ballet gathering at 10:45 and 11:30. This
10:45 to 11:30.
To 11:30. That's true, Kay. That's a short time. This Saturday at the YMCA, South Montgomery County YMCA over there by Branch Crossing. And I was just thinking, ballet ages 2 to 5 if they're mommies. That's got to be cute.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not going, but it does sound interesting. If you want to get some good photos, folks, that's where I would be. Where I use Saturday, June 4th, 10:45 is when it starts. Also, something that I think is very valuable. Mothers with teenagers and all, get your pen out and listen to this. There's babysitter training class for ages 11 and up at 12 to 4 p.m. at the YMCA this Saturday. So you could actually, if you're a parent and your kid needs a ride, you could actually drop them off while you go and look at the Mommy and Me
Is this
ballet.
Still at the Branch
It's
Crossing
at the Branch,
location?
Crossing location.
All right,
at
all right. You know, when I was a teenager, and folks, we're talking 50-something plus years ago, they didn't have babysitter training.
They didn't, Kay. We didn't know what we were doing.
I got thrown, into some babysitting jobs, and nobody died, but I really was not very well prepared.
No, I never was. But, it's something how much parents trusted us back then. Of course, I just babysitted for my nieces and nephews, and they trusted me not to kill them or anything. And really the kids that I babysitted, nieces and nephews, were respectful and very nice.
Well, that's good.
That's always good.
That's good.
But that's something
I didn't know
you
you ever babysat. That's cool to know.
I did. What have you got over there, Kay? Things that have...
Well, this is cool. It's a golden retriever meet and greet, 10 a.m. to noon, Saturday at the Aura Sporting Traditions on Six Pines in the Woodlands. I'd like to meet a golden retriever, but I get the feeling this is probably for golden retriever owners.
Oh, you reckon?
I reckon.
And if you've got one of those black labs and you come in, they probably don't want you there. They want the golden retrievers.
Well, yeah, they specify.
Now, excuse my abysmal ignorance, but golden retrievers are Labradors, aren't they?
No, but they look a lot like them.
Oh, they're hairy.
And they're very sweet.
Oh,
they're very sweet animals.
But rambunctious, aren't they?
I don't think so. I think the rambunctiousness depends on,
Oh, okay.
how they've been trained, whatnot.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
So,
anyway. We've seen those.
Something else coming up.
Let's hear it.
This weekend that I would like to go to, it's the homegrown market at the old Montgomery Community Center in Montgomery. They've got homemade, handmade, homegrown stuff. Stuff.
And that's Saturday.
And
that's, folks, that's at the old community center, not that new one over there. This is the old one right downtown.
9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I once, years ago, gave a talk to some AARP, which I am a member of right now, but a group of senior citizens there, and it was one of my poor talks.
At that location?
Yeah, I don't think I could be heard very well, and they didn't have.
And we had Ruby Jewell's 80th birthday party there
sure
too.
Did.
That
was a great place.
That was a wonderful place. Well, what else can?
Let's see. The biggest thing I think we need to plug
here
is this First Thursday thing, Kay. Free concert tomorrow.
Yes, free concert series starting off at Metcalf at Main Street. It's the Founders Plaza, 4 to 8 p.m.
Yeah, by Metcalf, she's talking about the road in downtown.
Metcalf
I could probably
Street.
throw a rock at it now with the pretty good arm strength I've got right now. But yeah, Metcalf, it's the Founders. They've got a
Founders Plaza.
I think Dick's been there. I know we have all. I slid down a snowbank when they.
Well, let's hope it doesn't rain.
Yeah. By the way, the group there is. Crud! I had it, but I don't know who it is. Kay, do you know who the group is? We don't know.
I don't. And I remember. And this is Thursday, not tonight. Thursday, tomorrow night.
Yeah.
4 to 8 p.m. I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to mention this too. Our segment is abbreviated somewhat, but the movies that are coming out this Saturday, folks. Some of you want to know.
Summertime. Big movies.
You'll know tomorrow if you get the Courier or the Chronicle. By the way, some of our news stories here were from the Chronicle, the graduations. The Bye-Bye Man is coming out Friday. I haven't heard about it. 3 college students unwittingly unleash a supernatural entity. Never been done before, folks. And another movie, Me Before You. That's a romantic drama.
They have been advertising that.
Really?
Yeah.
Romantic drama about a working-class English girl who becomes caretaker to a wealthy young wheelchair. Is that the wheelchair guy that's paralyzed? Because I don't know.
Yeah, it's like he's paralyzed from the neck down, I think, just from what I've been able to see.
I don't know. Wheelchair-using banker. And also something else that's coming out, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. That's it. Never Stop, Never Stopping. And it's about star in this comedy about a rapper enduring a colossal sophomore slump. I don't know, Kay. I'm going to skip that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip this last one, folks. I think it's a bad weekend. You're just listening to Mark saying this. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That Out of the Shadows is coming.
But they usually do pretty good, but we're just not Ninja Turtle fans.
I like, superhero stuff for the most part and action, but Ninja Turtles doesn't float my boat. By the way, we do have a story today, and we will have a joke, but to give that to you, we are going to have to take a break first, folks.
Okay.
We will be back in a couple of minutes. You're listening to Mark and Kay on Hanging with the Hayters here on IRLoneStar.com. Back in a couple.
Mark and I appreciate you checking out our archives. Don't forget, we're live every Wednesday at noon on Lone Star Community Radio. If you have any questions, please contact us on our Facebook page, Hanging with the Hayters. And you're back with Hanging with the Hayters. This episode today has gone so fast,
It has.
babe. We're down to just the last 10 minutes of the show.
And in this last 10 minutes, the vision I got in my mind right now is the hog adder water snake, or the hog adder viper. I want that out of my mind.
Do you know I killed one time?
Okay, please don't.
When we were first married, we lived in Lakeland, and I was cleaning out a flower bed underneath some azaleas, and I had taken my rake, and I had really poked around in the bushes to run anything out. He was really short, and, triangular head and stuff, and... Anyway, I got so mad, I basically beat him to death. I feel bad.
That was before we talked to Jerry Walls.
Yeah, I
That
know.
was understandable.
Okay.
But
all right.
Right now, though, we do have a joke and a story. The joke I'm going to keep short because the story is probably a little longer. And as you can see, I'm speaking way too fast, Kay. I need to slow down.
Slow down.
By the way, this joke is, I don't know where it came from, but you probably heard it. A lot of people have. It's nothing original, definitely not with me. But, Kay, it has to do with the difference between the bird flu and the swine flu. Do you know the difference between those?
No.
Okay, that's a good answer. To treat bird flu, you need to use a tweetment.
Use a tweetment?
A tweetment. And for swine flu, you need some ointment. Get it, Kate?
I got
tweetment
it.
and ointment. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is, okay, just a second. They will not shut up laughing. Please, people, calm down. All right. We got a story, and I don't know, you've heard in the past a lot of my stories. Some are family-related, some are historical figure-related, some current issue-related. But this one's going to be a little different. There is a town that exists only in my mind, and it's called Ferris, F-A-R-I-S. Oddly enough, it's got the same name as my dad. It's Ferris, Oklahoma. And Kay and I actually met some of the people in the first episode. We had some scripts and all, but this is just some news that's coming out of this little town in Oklahoma with about, 1,211 people, I believe. But and the reason I bring it up is because it's so appropriate to what is going on now and what we've talked about, and that is graduation. And I've got notes that were given to me by Lawrence Jeffries, who's the reporter there in Ferris, Texas. He is the reporter for the Ferris Find. That's the name of the newspaper. It was originally, Kay, called the Ferris Gazette, but it was called the Ferris Find because of their delivery guy. There was only one, Stephen Gregg. He would always hide the newspaper, throw it in a place where people couldn't find it. And so after a while they said, they called it the Ferris Find. Isn't that cute? Anyway, he sent me his notes. The article will not come out until Saturday in the Ferris Find. So right now I'm looking over his notes. And during the graduation, ladies and gentlemen, it was at the Ferris Elementary and High School in Ferris, Oklahoma. And it was just, I don't know what I said before, Saturday?
This past Saturday?
This past Saturday. And he hasn't written about it yet, but it's coming. Anyway, it was a graduation for the kindergarten kids. It was their kindergarten commencement.
So fun.
It was so cute. And there were only 4 graduates from the Ferris kindergarten, and each one of them showed up in their green robes. That's the color of Ferris, Texas high school.
Mascot, okay.
Elementary and high school. Yeah, their mascot is the falcon, if you can believe that, the Ferris Falcon. Anyway, their green robes, and some of the parents were upset because they had to pay $14.99 for the robes, and the question was, what the heck are we going to do with them after, they graduate? I've got this $15 robe. Anyway, so after a lot of argument, they agreed, the principal, by the way, who's also the superintendent, Gertrude Carmine, agreed that, look, you don't have to buy the mortarboard hat. Just let them wear their own hats, but you do need to pay $15 for the robe. So they did. They showed up, and the commencement address was given by 5-year-old Madison Broomrod, and he came in with his green robe, and he's wearing his dad's John Deere hat, and it's just pretty much
green.
captured
John
this
Deere
house.
Green, perfect.
It's perfect, Kay. He's walking into the, by the way, this was in the cafeteria of Ferris School, the elementary and the high school in the same place. They got a little stage over there, and as Madison's walking in, Kay, according to Lawrence Jeffries, he tripped over his robe because it was too big. He fell down with his elbows, on the stage. His hat went everywhere. I mean, went far away from him, and he did not cry. He got up, and as he was getting up, I should say, he asked his mom, Do I go get the hat? And she said, no, leave it there. So that was helpful. And then he said, can I take off the robe? Because it tripped him. And she said no. So he had to get the robe, and he had to come up there, and he had to give the address, the commencement. And he had studied for it for, good grief, about 3 days. And he finally came up with this. And Kay, I think it's beautiful.
Is it brilliant?
It's brilliant. He said, this is from Madison, he said, I'm Madison Broomrod in Mrs. Gertrude's class, and I don't put marbles in my mouth, but Liam bites people. And then he walked away, and that was his talk, and the applause was unbelievable. 3 days to come up with that. No marbles in his mouth. How do they come up with a kid? These people are genius. Anyway, after that, of course, Gertrude came up. Gertrude Carmine came up. She's the principal, the superintendent, and a teacher there at Ferris. And she had to, bring each kid individually up to the stage and say something about
to get their diploma.
Yeah. So Gertrude gets up there, and she says, calls the name, Janice Nels. And Janice Nels comes up in a goofy hat, like you get at Disney World or something. Now, I think her dad had a pretty good sense of humor. And before she handed her diploma into the first grade, Gertrude Carmine says this about Janice, which I thought was good. She said, Janice Nels smiles a lot, and she is the best skipper in kindergarten. By skipper, Kay, she means
skips.
Skipping.
Yeah.
They have skip contests for whatever, and at recess, and she said she's the best skipper. So that's, after her kindergarten year, that's what you can say about Janice Nels. Goofy hat and a great skipper. Liam Reynolds was the next one. She called Liam Reynolds up, and she said, yes, Liam does in fact bite, and he likes to draw cows, and he's the second fastest runner of the kindergartners. And, big applause. Finally, Renee Shoppy comes up, and she wore a princess, what do they call those things? Tiara. And, there's Gertrude again. She says, Renee brings her lunch every day. She has a tuna fish sandwich without pickles, and she shares her carrots. And she likes trees and cardinals, and she's the fastest runner. Who would have guessed that? She's the fastest runner, ladies and gentlemen, at Ferris High School kindergarten class. And last, of course, comes up the valedictorian, Madison. He comes up, and Madison is got his hat back on, and according to Gertrude, he thinks he's a martial arts expert. He once kicked Renee's lunch sack right out of her hand. He's the best jump roper, and he likes what do they call it? Impressionistic art. And she said that his drawings defy interpretation. Gave him the diploma. Everybody's happy. They finally, before she leaves, so they can go eat their goodies, Gertrude says to the parents, please have your kid read Sue the Blue Goat during the summer. So they've got this, Sue the Blue Goat.
They got a reading assignment before first grade. They can read before first grade.
Cake and punch after that.
Good.
And ladies and gentlemen, by the way, it is this Friday, day after tomorrow, is the high school graduation. They're at Ferris High. And the dress is casual, by the way, nothing big. And that's the news right now out of Ferris, Oklahoma. May your eggs be double yolkers and all your batteries hold the charge until next week, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, Hayter back. This is Mark and Kay Hayter hanging with the Hayters. We've got to run, folks.
We're
out of here.
Week.
See you next week on
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for checking out this production of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star Community Radio, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, TV, media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production produced by the show host and Dick Schischler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schischler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.